And I think I want to finish off with this one because I'll be honest, I study politics and who's this person picking president. He's putting that one in his cabinet. He's picking this people, regulatory agency. Oh, he's picking club members. Oh my gosh. But it is quite hard to read Trump sometimes. Matter of fact, it's been quite hard this whole time now that I've got to see two sides of him. It is very hard to figure out, is he really flip-flopping now, or is there a method to his madness? We're not going to invade Syria. We are. We're going to overthrow Assad. No, we're not. We're going to let the people decide. China's going to help us. So we hate China. They're currency manipulated. No, they're not. Like, it's hard to tell. But one person who was at the forefront since he was campaigning was Roger Stone. And his information was pretty solid. So I'm reading this article from shtfplan.com from Max Slavo, where he seems to have a little bit of a different take. This guy, Roger Stone, again, and he was on the forefront of the Trump campaign. He was on InfoWars numerous times telling everybody what was happening. They tried to poison him. Remember, he got sick as hell. They tried to poison the guy. I'm thinking, if they went that far, even though it appears Trump's like, is he going to the dark side or not? Why would they have tried to poison this guy? Like, it was not normal. So, if he has something to say, Roger Stone, I'd like to hear it. I think he may have a better point of view than you or I. Not that that's going to make me all of a sudden be, okay, I think everything's fine. No, I'm still, my radar's still on, like, trying to figure out what is Trump doing. Hopefully it's good. It's not looking good over here, but that looks kind of good over here. He just did something good over there. That's good. But over here he didn't, I still got to be on top of that stuff. But here it is. Roger Stone, Trump diplomacy is working. It's really working. Really. President Trump has taken a lot of flack recently. First for his direct strike on a Syrian airfield using 59 Tomahawk missiles, then for responding to North Korea's rhetoric and nuclear testing by deploying a naval strike fleet to the region, and finally for dropping the world's largest non-nuclear mother-of-all bombs on a cave complex housing as many as 800 Islamic State fighters. For many, it appears on the surface that Donald Trump, the military-industrial complex, and deep state operatives behind the scenes have war on their minds. The criticisms leveled at the president are certainly the result of a real concern from his constituents, especially since as a candidate, he promised to change the system and root out its corrupt and warlike culture, only to turn around and take 3 significant military actions within his first 100 days in office. Even if those who have rallied against the president are wrong, at the very least, one could argue that the criticisms are necessary in order to maintain a cross-check on the actions of the executive branch. Sure, but if the executive branch continues doing what they're doing, not in a good way, so what? Whether we put him in check, you can't fire the guy. But again, hopefully there's really a method to his madness, because again, I've said it, it's not looking good. But he is a smart man, we know that, and he may be doing this for some reason. We just have to wait. I hate to say that, but it has only been roughly 100 days. It's not been that long. But political insider Roger Stone, who at one point was head of Trump's campaign, says that the president's recent decisions prove he is a man of action who is very much uprooting the strategies, tactics, and geopolitical machinations of the old guard. According to Stone, who joined InfoWars host Alex Jones in an interview over this weekend, President Trump is moving to permanently resolve the world's most pressing conflicts, some of which have spanned decades. Which, again, I'm going to have to stop for a second, and because he's talking about Syria being one of them, North Korea being the other. North Korea, that's one thing, but Syria, we're getting fake news telling us we got to go in there and overthrow the guy. I got a problem with that, because that means all these years that this has been a problem, a thorn in our foot, means we just want to overthrow this guy for all these years and can't find a reason, so we have to make up reasons. There's no real reason. We have to make it up. So I do have a problem with that. But this is his article, his quotes from Roger Stone. And again, the guy's, at one point was his right-hand man, so let's see what he has to say. Obviously, you have a group in the White House who think they are puppeteers, and they'd like to have Donald Trump be their puppet. Donald Trump is no man's puppet. He works for the American people. Whenever Donald Trump has all the information, he will almost invariably make the right decision. This is what's happened here. He elected to do a limited strike on Syria. His advisors immediately saw an opening to propose a full Vietnam-style ground war, 150,000 troops. The defense contractors were licking their chops. They were so happy. The bad news for them was that so many libertarians, so many non-interventionists, so many patriots, so many Trump supporters expressed their opposition or concern, both publicly and privately, that Trump now had the correct focus. Over the objections of his Defense Secretary, Mattis, over the objections of National Security Advisor McMaster, he has elected not to expand the war to move on. In the same breath, the president's critics tried to say, oh, he's flip-flopping on China. He didn't break their arm about currency manipulation and our trade relationships. He's obviously abandoning those things. No, he hasn't abandoned those things at all. All he's doing is prioritizing them, getting the nukes out of the hands of a maniac in North Korea, and getting China's help to do that, which appears to be happening, is a higher priority for the president right now than currency manipulation or trade. Which I will say, let's stop for a second, because it just dawned on me right now after reading that. You just had China over there, over here at the White House, specifically to ask for help. That's obviously what was happening. We need help with North Korea. You need to go deal with this guy. Like, seriously, you really need to do something about this. And I know a little conspiracy rumor came out. 150,000 Chinese troops are now on the border. I have found nothing to substantiate this, by the way. But nonetheless, China, is trying to do something allegedly. So if you're Trump and you say, hey, China, I need your help on this extremely important matter with North Korea. But first, before I get into that, I need to label you a currency manipulator, cause you economic harm. Is that how you're going to do it? Obviously, no. No, China's fine. I'm not going to label them a manipulator. Everything's cool until maybe we get to that point and we need to address that. It's an argument that it's hard to argue with. It does make sense, but we're not going to know until we wait a period of time to really see how things unfold. And I don't know what that time period is. I'm hoping sooner rather than later. And when I see whatever I see sooner rather than later, I hope it's that, oh, great. Our weird suspicions were right. He's actually not going to do these things we were terrified about, and he's not doing the things his warmongering advisors are telling him that he should do. This is great. That's what I'd like to come out here and say. But if that's not the case, I'm not going to come out here and say, I'm going to come out here and tell you the truth. Believe me, the Chinese are going to hear about that from Trump. But right now, there's a lot of good signs. If confirmed, this rejection of these enormous shipments of coal from North Korea and the replacement of these orders to purchase coal from U.S. companies by the Chinese is highly symbolic. The Chinese are trying to tell the North Koreans, quit screwing around or we're going to have to join the coalition to take you out. This is all Trump diplomacy. It's working. It's really working. I think the Chinese have now agreed to work with us in a partnership to slow the North Koreans down and get them out of the nuclear business. That alone would be a major breakthrough because, as you point out in the past, they have been unwilling to get involved. As far as the MOAB or Moab bombing in Afghanistan, Donald Trump was very forthright in his campaign that he was going to crush ISIS. ISIS is a loose end created by the foreign policy of the globalists, George Bush, George W. Bush, Hillary, and Barack. Trump doesn't have the option of doing nothing. But with a non-interventionist foreign policy going forward, we won't be creating any new organizations like ISIS. As both Jones and Stone suggest, Trump's latest moves are actually a step in the right direction as they are cleaning out the mess created by his predecessors. Watch the full interview with Roger Stone here. What do you think? Is President Donald Trump doing the bidding of the deep state? And I'll link this article in the description box. But prior to this, all of this stuff, from the recent actions in the Middle East and the mother of all bombs, prior to that, go back 2 months ago. I think that was around the time frame. He said, Trump, We had a great meeting referring to China again. And we talked about leveling the playing field, meaning U.S. exports need to be competitive just like the rest of the world. So we need to work on that as a partnership or whatever with China and other countries. But he was really focused on China. And remember what he said, because I talked about this too in one of my videos. He said, they understand about the level of the playing field. We got a plan together. And I think it's going to surprise people how soon it comes out and into play, how soon we get this together and get this out there. It'll happen sooner than I think anybody can imagine. And I kept saying, but what is it? What's the plan? You didn't say what it was. You didn't say what was going to be coming and that it'll be coming sooner than that. I think anybody will think it will happen. And I still say that because I haven't heard anything too. What is this plan? What are you talking about? And what if it is the United States needs to devalue? We're going to make some kind of, again, partnership with China. We're now going to ship you coal. We're going to, maybe he's trying to do this in a diplomatic way. But like the guy said, he can't because we've created these terror groups and all this crap. So when Donald Trump bombs somebody, where he's hitting is not the same places that when Barack and Bush were in power would bomb, because they would bomb basically Syrian targets, whereas Donald Trump is hitting the quote-unquote ISIS targets, which, as you know, are simply rebel groups trying to overthrow a legitimate government, which is what they've been doing in all these countries we've been putting them in and supplying them. So we got to clean up our loose ends, clean up our mess. So this thing we created, spent a ton of money on, we just got to get them out of here now. And I think that is what Donald Trump's going to do. So that's what he's suggesting here. It does make sense. And I have to say, it's hard for me, even though I'm talking like this, to buy into all this 100% right now. It's very confusing, all of this, even for someone like myself who lives, eats, breathes, reads, studies this stuff every day, every night. I'm looking constantly, getting information. It's hard to figure the man out. And just when you think, oh, no, he put a great person in the FDA. Oh, he put a great person over on that one. That's fantastic. That's a good move. Oh, he took all the transgender LGBTQ stuff off the White House website instantly. Oh, the whole transgender agenda, gone. Bathroom, gone. Well, that's a good sign. Didn't need to be there, in my opinion. Again, as soon as it happened, Target, we're going to comply. Guy goes, peeks over the freaking stall, spying on a little girl, comes out, girl's yelling, crying to her mom. This guy, girl-looking thing, whatever you want to call it, came out and did this. And as I said before, transgender people have been around a long time. And if men want to look like a woman, they're going to look like a woman. Most of the time, you're not even going to know it's a man. Finkel is Einhorn. Einhorn is Finkel. Einhorn's a man. Do you remember Jim Carrey? Gotta run. Take care.